podcast from Bottomline Technologies.
Episode 2 of High Performance Survival, learning in the thick of it. Very much a human focused discussion on leadership in our current challenging times. What we're wanting to do here at PlanetK2 is hear from some leaders that we know and respect who are in the middle of reacting and responding, as we all are, to the current changes in everything to do with our lives, but particularly the commercial side of things as well. So last week we heard from Lisa Bonney and got some of her insights from her world in marketing. And this week we are going to move into a different field, a different leadership role. So great pleasure to introduce Nigel Savory. Nigel, I'll let you introduce yourself with your title and a little bit about what you do and Bottomline and that world to begin with before we get rolling in, just so that the people who are listening in can get a little bit of that context. So yeah, a little bit about you and Bottomline, that would be great, and then we'll roll on with some questions.
Thanks, Chris, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nigel Savory. I'm the Managing Director for the International Business segment at Bottomline Technologies. What we do is we help businesses pay and get paid. And I guess, through this crisis, businesses are always going to want to get paid, probably more than ever now. Cash is very important, and equally businesses will need to collect money. So helping businesses pay and get paid is what we do.
And you say you're part of the international setup, MD. So at the moment, in charge of how many people across what kind of the different geographies?
Yep. So Bottomline has roughly 2,000 people, and I'm responsible for about 800 of those people. Geographies really global, so we've got an Asia segment, we've got business in Australia, we've got a big operation in Europe, and I look after obviously all of the UK segments too. Cool.
And just out of interest, obviously we've got a UK focus here, but you've got that global perspective. Has your leadership experience been changing before it's been impacted here in the UK? Have you had a bigger lead time, a different lead time? Has this felt different from you than it might have felt for us who are kind of sort of just got up to the full reaction in the UK in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it has actually, because our Singapore office was involved in this crisis before us. We were kind of watching it on TV. We went into BCP with the Singapore team probably 6 to 8 weeks ago now. So watched them kind of go through the fear cycle, if you like, and become accepting of the situation, and I guess the kind of new normal settled there. And we were taking light from that over the recent weeks here, that we've kind of seen that cycle and things normalize a little bit. It's just so happened the last day or two that Singapore has begun to get locked down again after some new cases. So yeah, it's been interesting to see that cycle. And we've had the advantage from being able to speak into that group and learn from that group. So yeah, that's been a definite advantage for us. But having said that, I mean, one size doesn't fit all. So when we're talking about being able to go out and keep ourselves fit in the UK, our colleagues in France are not able to do that. They're kind of locked down much more than we are. So we've been trying to create messages that fit everybody, but that's certainly been an ongoing kind of challenge for us, really.
Yeah, and I'm interested on this kind of the person element of leadership. So have you felt any different in terms of your leadership responsibility? Has your experience sort of changed markedly over the last few weeks in terms of what you're expecting of yourself, or sort of challenges that you're putting in front of yourself, or how you feel you should be?
Yeah, so I don't think my style has changed. I always try and be kind of as authentic and straightforward as I can be. So I don't think the style's changed, but certainly the delivery has changed and the focus has changed. So our communication, for example, was increased massively. We're meeting. I'm spending time with my management team every morning now. My communication has changed in that I'm now running a kind of video blog, so I'm communicating to all of my teams across the world via video. So a vlog type series, which I've never done before. That's been a new skill for me. That's been well received by the teams. There's, goals. Our goals and priorities have changed really, or they've changed priority in that, the key focus for us now is really around, I guess, three things, or two largely. One is the health and well-being of our employees, and obviously that, to be there to support our customers for whatever they need. It's been like the two core priorities. The other one I was going to say is about staying connected, and we've spent a lot of time and effort making sure that the team have got everything they need to be able to be connected and do their work properly. One of the things that we have realized from our team is that actually work might be the only consistent thing in their life right now, and so staying connected is a really, really important part of that. So the other thing I'd say is that with so much uncertainty in the world, we're trying to provide as much certainty as we can do, without obviously without over promising. So if we can remove uncertainty, then we will remove fear as much as we can do, and people will become more relaxed and more effective at their roles. So I think communication's really important, massive increased communication, visibility. So being able to see people on video and stuff has been really, really important. And I think the way in which we're delivering our messages is new, in that it's using new mediums to do that.
Yeah. And are you finding those measures that you're taking, are they helping you as well? Because I'm always interested in how do leaders stay confident, how do they stay kind of feeling in control, so they're kind of presenting that leadership vibe from we've got this. Have the measures been helping you as well, kind of get in your leadership confidence?
Well, I mean, whilst we don't know what is going to happen in the long term, we do feel as confident as we can be about the short term. So we're taking a relatively short term view in terms of actions. But having said that, we're very confident we're going to come through this crisis as well as we can do. So we've been making sure we've been sharing that with our entire team. You see different types of businesses. You see businesses that are literally fighting for survival. You see other businesses that their revenue is dropping, and they're in many cases or some cases reducing operating expense to try and drive a profit. We're taking a longer term view, recognizing that some of our near-term results may be impacted, but we're making sure that we're maintaining our employee team. So we're very much focused on supporting that team through the crisis. Their principal role this time is to support our customers. So we're very much focused on making sure that all of our customers are getting what they need, and we're maintaining our investment in product and innovation, because we believe that we've got the opportunity to come through this crisis much stronger on the other side if we take that kind of longer term view. So they're the three kind of core things that we're doing. We want to be that business that's doing the right thing now, and obviously take it step by step, but with a longer term view of recognizing that we can drive real trust from our employee team, better trust than we had before. We had good trust before. That we can drive real customer loyalty, increase customer loyalty, and that we can have competitive advantage coming out of this by accelerating our product innovation.
So that future focus, having that future focus feels quite important for you, for just the way you're talking about that as a leader, kind of being able to articulate stuff that way. And then you talk about the importance of the health and well-being of your people. So it feels to me like you're doing a really great job of joining up the here and now and being in the moment, but also you doing that leader job of getting your head in the future and starting to get, a picture of a different track into the future that it might have existed, when you were setting your 2020 goals in the first place. It feels like there's an important balance there for you to be, here and now and future focused, and but it's shifted as well from pretty rapidly from what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I think every single company's goals and priorities have changed in the last weeks. We believe the best way to get through this and to get the best results is to support our employees and to be there for our customers at this point in time. So that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, and so that the health and well-being from an employee's point of view, that's interesting. What have you been accentuating more, and are you leading by example in that health and well-being stuff as well?
I'm trying to. So a number of things on that. We've put a great deal of effort into providing resources for employees around fitness and well-being. So we've got performing at home seminars. We've got yoga. We've got HIIT training. We've got virtual cocktail hours. We've got coffee hours. We've got a whole bunch of new regimes and programs that we've put in place to try and support our employees. I think one of the biggest things that we've been talking to employees is routine, and trying to encourage employees to build a new routine that includes exercise, that includes sleep, that includes diet. One of the key things I'd say though is that we've been emphasizing, underlining the need for flexibility, and particularly with the schools breaking up, or where employees have to deliver food to elderly parents, or perhaps where they need to collect medical supplies from pharmacies. We're very accepting of the fact that there's a huge requirement for flexibility. So we're just saying to the employee team, make the routine work for you. We're not trying to amplify or put additional stress on people to make sure that they're working their normal kind of routine. The new routine is there, and it's all about flexibility. And again, our employees, I think, have been really appreciative of that. We've got single parents with a couple of children at home. It's very, very difficult to keep them regular routine. We've got other employees who are carers, and some of the care that they did have is now not there, so they've got frankly other priorities. So we're making sure through this time that the employees have got the flexibility that they need to get through this. So we're letting people create their own routines. And again, I've been through my videos, I've been trying to create videos that are not staged, they're in my own environment. So I did one, as I said, on a run. I've done one just sat in my office as I am now. So just trying to keep it real, really.
So it's interesting because I've seen a couple of things already that have come out which have said working from home, people are tending to work longer hours. And so I was playing around yesterday with sort of, if we take the normal blocks of things that you do in a normal working day, commute, then some working time, some coffee time, some lunch time, some commute home. If we take those blocks, but then we kind of reorder them into sort of me time, travel time, work time, what can we do to play around and create the flexibility at home so that we can have a similar amount of time, but just spread out differently? And then thinking whether there's homeschooling, or are you someone who likes to get up early and get the work done early? Are you someone who's later? There's a bit more freedom here as well, isn't there, as well as the restriction? It's quite interesting to look at it that way.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm waking up earlier, and I'm up at 6, and it's given me a lot more time. So I've been very good. I've been going out for runs every morning. And I'm back in the office for 7:30, 8:15. But I'm actually doing a lot of things that I should have done before.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting a chance to have meal times with the family. I'm getting the chance to give my son a hug every day. Because I'm not traveling. I'm getting a chance to cook a meal every now and then that I didn't necessarily do before. So I'm encouraging all of my team to try and take advantage of this time and embrace some of the things that perhaps they wish they could have done, because it is definitely providing more opportunity for people to do that type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think I've said it before, but work-life balance I've always thought is a bad thing, but now now that we've sort of cut the link, the link is separated, we've got home and work are together, people are going to hit a reset switch in some ways. It's going to be more opportunity to think about what's the stuff that's important to me that is work and home and everything. And if I look at it differently, it does allow you to, I think, quite a few of our team have talked about, being able to step up more as a member of the family as well as at work. And it's kind of felt that it's hit a reset switch in a number of different ways. And I think that, that from a confidence point of view in leadership, that kind of adds to the mix, doesn't it?
Yeah. Another observation as well has been, we've been on video with, all the team, my team. Every morning we're sat here and we're in each other's houses, we're in each other's rooms and offices. We've been speaking to customers and we're in their houses, their homes, and in many ways we've built a different relationship. It feels much more personable, much more connected. It's funny that one of my team this morning, when we had our management meeting, said, I've always enjoyed working with you, but I actually think I like you all now. And and it's because people are being, open. They're talking about their feelings. They're talking about their experiences. They're talking about their routines. They're talking about their home life. We're seeing their home life, and it just feels much more authentic and much closer than it was before. So there's a lot of good things that are coming through that. I think people are also very grateful for what they have. Certainly within Bottomline, we're very grateful for the business we've built and the strength of our business model and our guiding principles, which we've had in place. They're really the fabric of what we do, which is working with and for each other, putting our customers first, doing the right thing, supporting our community. Those principles and values, I think, are really, really playing well for us, because that's what people are pivoting towards naturally.
Yeah, and it feels from what you're saying that the values are starting to have more meaning rather than just the words behind them.
Yeah, I mean, so walking the talk, and doing what you say is everything. And also, you're not just doing that, but encouraging others and providing people with the freedom to do those things is really important. And Bottomline have done some amazing things just in this last few weeks. I mean, there's an organization called 68 Hours of Hunger, which is providing food for children that would normally get food at school. And we've given those guys $100,000 to help. That's a great thing to do. Really lovely thing to do. Another great thing was hospital who use a digital onboarding system for patients and patient records. We shipped them, I think it was 1,000 iPads so that they could do their work from home. So that there's been some extraordinary gestures, which is really closely linked to our values. It seems like the obvious thing to do, because that's kind of where our values come from. So yeah, it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah. Are you finding sort of that this experience got more from the personal, more human level up? Is it changing any of your thoughts about leadership, or is it confirming some of your leadership choices and giving you more freedom to sort of lead with more power in certain ways?
Well, I think it's confirmed our leadership style, and I think it's amplified the importance of that. Interestingly, again, I think that we all got the sense of greater responsibility for our company, for our employees, for our communities, for our friends, for our necessarily responsibility for our families, but I think we all feel more responsible, and responsible for the young grad who we need to make sure there's a desk for them to work at when they're working from home. Everybody's got a sense of responsibility, or certainly the leadership team got a sense of responsibility for making sure that everybody's well. We're asking people how they're feeling, we're asking people what they need, we're making sure our customers have everything they need to be successful and make sure their business is running so they can look after their customers and employees. So definitely a bigger sense of responsibility, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because Again, I've been reflecting on well, what happens when organizations can't rely on the scoreboard as much, and what they thought were going to be the targets of, actually we can't trust anything. We can't, we're going to have to kind of build from one day at a time. Classically for us, it kind of brings you much more back to a performance focus, being obsessive about the inputs, because we can't really worry too much around what the scoreboard's saying. And it kind of feels like you're reinforcing that, scoreboard isn't there. We're focusing much more on, building from the ground up and playing as well as we can one day at a time. It feels like it's kind of allowing you to, as good as you were already at kind of living the performance stuff, feels like it's going to another level.
Yeah, so certainly, day by day, week by week is kind of what's driving our immediate kind of responses and actions and kind of leadership. But with the longer term in view, we really do believe that we can come through this crisis and we will come out, as a stronger business with, really well connected employee team and with really strong customer loyalty. So, but it's kind of mixing those two things. The thing I would say is that certainly our meetings and our the subject matter has changed in our meetings. It was 80-20, results and financial statistics and all those measures. It's flipped the opposite. It's much more now around, are we doing the right thing for our employees? Have they got everything they need? Are we doing the right thing for our customers? And they got everything that they need? Our employees have spent the last 2 weeks reaching out to every single customer to make sure that we're there for them. They know we're there for, there's some customers that need help right now. So we're doing our very best to make sure that we're able to help them.
Yeah. And that feels like that's a really important part of your measure of success each week as well now. How much have we helped people, I guess. That's a different dashboard totally, isn't it?
It is. I mean, some things we're not measuring. We know, just in my own leadership team, there's about 18 leaders there. We talk about how do we feel today every day. And it goes in cycles. Some people are good today and they're not good tomorrow. And so we talk about it. And, if we can talk about it together, we kind of bring each other up. And that cycle, I think at this point in time, just needs to continue to happen almost every day, where you're talking about how you're feeling, and we're talking about, talking with our employee teams about how they're feeling. We're encouraging people to share their problems or worries with us, because if they do that, we can make a list of those problems, and we can list their worries and we can try and solve them. So we don't want people kind of sat on things and closing things down. So creating a kind of problems list is a quite a cool thing to do right now, in that we can help solve some of those problems, whether it be for our employees or for our customers.
Yeah, and are you getting a chance to kind of share problems solved or successes, or where people are feeling good? Are they sharing that as well? Are you getting sort of some good wins being shared as well?
Yeah, it's absolutely. So I'm celebrating wins on my vlogs. Equally, the management team are celebrating wins on a daily basis, regardless of what that win is. It could be the number of people that joined our yoga group in the morning. That would be a win, as an example. So yeah, we're celebrating and profiling, success and progress, and problem solved, all of the time. So yeah, we've definitely, again, I mentioned at the beginning, I think the thing that we've done is ramped communications massively. We've got an employee engagement platform, and we've put channels into that employee engagement program focused, specifically on health and well-being, as an example. It's focused on, new assets to support customers and new guidance to support customers if they're in trouble or struggling. So, we've kind of create channels specifically for this crisis, which again, I'm sure we'll use many of those as we come out of this, because they've been great.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm starting to get interested in. What are people learning here that they're going to want to keep hold of, because it feels like it's a better recipe, or it's a recipe that allows a different quality of motivation, a different degree of meaning. We've heard so much about purpose at work and people wanting purpose. I just wonder if there's a lot of opportunity here for people to kind of feel that they've got a work home, a work family, and there's real purpose behind what they're doing as well because of that stuff coming to the fore. Are you getting that sense from people in terms of the value that they're getting from it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, people are celebrating their fitness. I mean, people were complaining this morning they all ate this morning after their hip program yesterday. So that's fun. So yeah, and I think there's there was a quiz yesterday. Some guy one of the employees dressed up as a quiz master and was doing a quiz show at lunchtime. So there's just all, the employees themselves are taking on the responsibility, if you like, to create groups and forums where people come together and have fun and get connected. It's vitally important. And it's not just about the leadership team doing this, it's the whole employee team that are making this stuff happen. But what we've certainly seen in our organization, and there was some homeworking that happened anyway, so that's perhaps one of the first things I mentioned. And the second thing is, we're a technology company, so people generally add technology to be able to do things, but people have adapted extraordinarily well to change. They have I think what we did very early, we communicated very early. We tried to create a platform of as much certainty as we could, and I think we removed the fear, or tried to remove as much of the fear as we could for a lot of people, and that kind of created the right platform for people to get on with their day jobs as best they could in this new norm. And like you said, we've probably seen people working more hours than they would ordinarily, because they're not commuting and all that kind of good stuff. They're sat at the computer, which is good and bad, right? We want to make sure that people are taking time away. Certainly myself, I find that a meeting ends and starts on the hour,
right? Okay.
Well, from one and the other. So a new kind of thing for me is to end the meetings at 10 to the hour. So I've got 10 minutes to get a coffee or whatever I need to do. So some new kind of things like that. But again, we're encouraging people to get outside. It's been sunny, get some exercise in. We're encouraging people to stay connected on these kind of video conferences we're doing around fitness and yoga and all those sorts of things. So yeah, it's worked well.
I just came off a coaching call with someone who was saying one of their team members is still carrying on their commute to work, but they just go for a walk. And they're going out for a walk away from the house, doing a commute and sort of coming back in, and so it's just sort of trying to see things that way, and that's clear. And as you were talking as well, I was just sort of thinking about, as I always like a sort of hackneyed sporting comparison, but the aching muscles from the HIIT session, that's adaptation. And if you just think about the new muscles people have been flexing at work as well, the last couple of weeks it'll have felt a little bit more awkward, a little bit more difficult, but actually next week after, that adaptation will have started. Things will feel more familiar, less unfamiliar, more certainty in terms of routine at home, more certainty in terms of productivity at home. Some of the stress comes out the system, and it's going to be interesting just to sort of see how people feel a little bit different now the new normal's getting into place as well, for leaders as well as performers, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the commute thing's funny you mentioned that, because my neighbor has got his children at home, been driving him crazy, so I've given him my gym to use. And,
okay.
At 8:30 I see him pack his bag and tromps across my lawn, and he goes to work in my gym, and it's it's quite funny. But the other thing with communities, or I've seen more of my neighbors in the last 2 weeks than I've seen in the last 2 years, I think, which is nice.
Yeah, it is. There's a different mix coming in play, isn't there, as well? And there's we're sort of playing with an idea about a new program called Play from the Heart, and about helping people connect with what's important to them as a person at work. And I think what's happening now is going to give even more sort of relevance to that play from the heart, and perform in a way that makes you sort of happy, proud, and sort of really able to engage in work on your terms much more, based upon your own versions of success as well. So it's great hearing those stories. I just wonder as well, I know you kind of scanning around a lot, always looking for input. Has there been anything you've picked up from other leaders, from outside Bottomline, anything that you've found that's been particularly useful that you think is worth passing on?
Well, I think I would say, first of all, inside Bottomline. So they're spend spending time with our own leaders and getting their different perspectives, and they're across the world, so that's been incredibly helpful for me. Our CEO set the tone very early, making it clear to everybody that the well-being of our employees and customers were the absolute principal focus. So internally, that's been great. But externally, there's a few things. I don't know if you've watched the Marriott CEO.
Yes.
I mean, what a difficult situation. Their revenues have dropped 90%, almost not overnight. They've had to close down hotels, and they're having to lay off employees for a period of time. I mean, the video that he did to his employee team was just, it was standout, really. It was so clear but so authentic, and really heartfelt. He was quite emotional when he was doing it, so I thought that was really cool. The other thing that kind of stood out for me, priorities, I don't know if you've seen Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister. He was late for an international call because he was bathing his kids, and I thought that was cool. I thought if the world leaders can take time out to bath their children, then so can we, right? So I thought that was really cool. So that's just an example where people are adjusting their routines. His wife is obviously out with COVID, and he's got children at home, and he's looking after them. So there's a couple of examples there, perhaps to pick out. But from our own culture perspective, putting the customer first, and listen to our customers. I mean, our customers are giving us probably as good a guidance, if not better guidance, than anybody else. Being really clear on what our customers need, listen to our customers, and working out how we can help more is kind of one of our principal guides, really, from a leadership perspective.
Yeah. It's really reinforcing for me today to kind of the shift to values being much more at the heart of everything. Value-based selling is going to become so much more meaningful when it's the real people relationships and understanding the customers in a different way, and it's much more of a partnership. It really feels like things are moved in that way, and that's coming out loud and clear from what you're saying, and the duty of care that you're taking around everyone, that feels just so important. And I guess Keith and I and we were talking this morning, saying this period of time for everyone is going to be a period that they're going to look back on in their life, and that's going to be punctuated by the experience of what do I remember about our team. How do I feel about how we were in that? Because we're going to remember this time, and actually stepping into that with that sense, okay, well, what do we want to be remembered for, and are we making ourselves proud so those memories are going to be ones worth looking back on? It feels like it's been a really strong start for you guys, but a desire to do more.
And I've personally had, I know that a lot of the leadership team have had tremendous feedback from our employee team, thanking us for all the efforts that we're putting in to do the very best for them and for our customers. It's bringing us closer to our employees, and it's in turn bringing us closer to our customers. So it's kind of strange how it's worked out, but we're getting a lot of really positive feedback and guidance from our employee team. They're helping us lead the business too.
Yeah, and that's great. So all the motivation stuff we talk around about the control, confidence, but connectedness, and everyone feeling they know the part they're playing and feeling that they're contributing. It feels like there's a lot more leveling out going on here. People have all been taken out of their comfort zone at the same time, which means we're kind of getting back into it together. But there's a bit more authority to lead from your position, whatever position that might be as well, and that feels really important from what you're saying as well.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the phase we're in. We've kind of we've worked through the fear. We continue to work through the fear thing. We're calm. We're trying to provide as much certainty as we can, and we're really focused on engagement, and that's engaging with our employees. It's engaging with our customers. It's engaging with communities where we can help. So you're kind of really in that engagement phase, I think. In terms of setting medium to longer term priorities, or new goals, we're probably not there yet. We're still working on those things. We don't know how this stuff's going to shake through. But it feels like we're doing a lot of good things right now, given the unknown. We don't know where this thing is going to be in April, May, June. We do know that this will pass. We don't know how we're going to look at as we go through the kind of peak of it, perhaps, and we don't know what we're going to look like on the other side. But what we do know is we're doing the very, very best we can do right now, and I think we're focused on the right things.
Yeah, no, sounds fantastic. And sort of last one from me to you, is there anything on the agenda for the rest of Friday that allows you to finish the week off with a even greater sense of success? Is there anything left for you to do today to make you proud?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be lots of things that will make me proud today. So as I said, I'm receiving tens of emails from people every day. We've got a channel, as I said, where employees are posting things on there that are making us laugh. Might be cuddling their pet or seeing their child, so that that gives us a kind of warm feeling. Our trading actually has been pretty good. So we've got a business to sustain here, so we are celebrating wins from customers. So you have to play. Customers are still placing orders. There's still business. Business is still going out there. So trading is, it's definitely not dropped off for us. So we're celebrating wins, and that provides confidence. We talked about, 3 pretty decent wins that we received yesterday. We'll be making sure the employee team know about those wins. So being able to sustain our business is important part of this program too. Hopefully we'll get some more kind of more customer wins as well. There's good news. There's good news every day, and I think having that kind of positive mindset, and the fact that we think we're kind of in control of this as best we can, provides us with a lot of confidence that we can come through this thing as best as we can. I'm sure there'll be a lot of wins today.
Yeah, brilliant. And everything I've heard as well, that the confidence comes through loud and clear as well. And sort of I want to thank you for sort of that there's some great inspiring messages in there as well. It's felt really great to hear that. Really delighted to have had the opportunity to kind of hear your take on stuff as well. There's some really valuable takeaways for everyone there as well. And we'll obviously keep the conversations going between us and yourselves at Bottomline Technologies. But fantastic job from you guys. Loads of plaudits to you, and any support you need, we've got it going there as well for you. So we'll keep that going. So really thank you very much.
If there's listeners on there, if there's anybody that businesses or charities that that are struggling to make payments, we had one charity just a couple of days back that couldn't make payments. We got them up and running in a couple of hours. So if there's any businesses or charities that that are struggling with that kind of stuff, then we're here to help with any of those things. So if anybody's want to just get in contact with me.
Yeah, fantastic. And for any of you listening, you've got our details. We can put you directly in touch with Nigel. And but a huge thank you, Nigel. Enjoy the rest of today, and have a relaxing weekend. And we'll look forward to checking in again soon. But I really appreciate your time, sir. Just an absolute pleasure.
Just before you go, Chris, let me just take a moment to thank K2. K2 have been helping us through this. They've been helping us with our Perform at Home program, which I know the employees have been really positive about. I've had some great reviews from that, so thank you for supporting us through this too.
Pleasure. We'll pass that on to Mark as well. So great stuff. Appreciate it, and all the best to you, sir. Have a great weekend. We'll say goodbye to everyone now, and we'll see you again for the next episode next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Podcast from Bottomline Technologies.